Would you like a raise, a promotion, maybe an added benefit or bonus at your job, or maybe a service or product at a discount? I'm guessing you said yes to all of the above. Why wouldn't you? Who doesn't want those things? The thing is, unfortunately, those things aren't just going to be typically given to us. We're probably going to have to ask for them, and we may even need to negotiate for them. And a lot of us don't like to negotiate or even ask for things. We avoid it altogether, and that's exactly what you don't want to do. If you watch my previous video on the fear of public speaking, you'll know that the things that you fear the most are the things that you have to go and do and overcome. And negotiating is one of those things. And at some point in your life, you're going to have to use the skill of negotiating. It's crucial, and it'll be a lifelong skill that you'll use throughout. Hi, and welcome to the BDM Perspective. My name is Brian, and thanks for tuning in. If you're new to this channel is meant to inspire and motivate myself and others to try new things and look at things from a different perspective. If you like this video, please think about liking right down below and subscribing to the channel. And if you have any comments or critiques or anything like that, please shoot them down in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear. All right, without further ado, let's get right into it. So first, let me tell you guys a quick story. A couple years ago, I went to Thailand for a vacation. And a little side note here, if you guys want a vacation on a budget, Thailand is the place to go. Try it out. Highly recommend it. But anyways, one thing that you'll notice in Thailand and places similar to it is that there's vendors everywhere. Vendors at the beach, streets everywhere, downtown, anywhere you can name it, there's a vendor there. And they're selling anything from food, shirts, any type of merchandise, pens, guitars, anything. They've got it. And you'll notice that down the street that there's a big hustle and negotiating atmosphere to it all. And you'll see once you walk down the street, I had many people say, "Hey, my friend, try on this suit. Hey, my friend, look at this pen. Hey, my friend." That was the typical line that they would say. But anyways, you'll notice that there's a really big hustle to all this, but and then negotiating, bargaining, and haggling. It's a normal occurrence in these places. And so I joined in and I negotiated for a lot of the things that I got there. And it was really fun. And they made it really fun as well. It was just really lighthearted, and you can really get into this banter back and forth. And it just made the experience that much more enjoyable. And that got me thinking about the art of negotiating and how here in the US, the art of negotiating has really lost itself. And the reason for that is because there's this big fear of actually first asking for what we want, at a discounted price or whatnot, but also following through with that because there's tension and it can be uncomfortable, so we just avoid it altogether. And so that's why I wanted to put this video together to give you my top 10 tips on negotiating, and these are just negotiating basics to help you get that promotion, that raise, that added benefit, or that bonus that you're looking for, or a service or product that you want at a discounted price. All right, so tip number one is confidence. You all knew this tip was coming. Confidence is important no matter what you do in life, but it's especially important when you're negotiating. So think about it this way. Picture this, you're negotiating with someone, and this is the type of body language they're giving you. They're looking around, they're fidgeting, they're making themselves small, and they're sweating, they just look really nervous. What are you gonna think at that point? What is the other side gonna think? They're gonna think, oh, this guy's not confident in what he's asking for. This guy has no control over this situation. He doesn't know what he wants. They are gonna sense fear. And when you sense fear, you've automatically lost that negotiation situation. You have no control over what is going to happen. When someone senses fear, they automatically know that whatever they say, whatever they do, is what you're going to go for first. So remember, be confident when you go into the situation. Have open body language. Don't be fearful of whatever is going to happen, and just know what you're there to do and be there with a purpose. All right, so tip number 2 is be relaxed and keep calm. So what this means is be level-headed throughout the negotiation situation. Show no emotion, be relaxed. Whatever happens, happens. Keep level-headed, be relaxed. No jerky movements, no overly emotional, just don't get angry, don't get super excited. Like, keep your emotions at bay. You want to let the other side know that you're in control of the situation, that you're in control of yourself. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, you are level-headed throughout. And this is important with anything that you do in the negotiation situation. You want to be level-headed with it. And so this comes with a very, very important tip within this is to know whoever cares more about the deal loses the deal. And whoever cares least about the deal wins the deal. And that's important to know when you go into this. You don't want to show that you're desperate, that you need this, that you have to have that. You've automatically lost. It doesn't show any, it just shows this neediness in having to have it, that the other side is not going to want to compromise. There's no need for them. You'll take whatever you can get. And that's not what you're trying to show. So remember, just keep calm, level-headed throughout the entire process. All right, so tip number 3 is smile and be lighthearted and fun. So just along with the other tip that I just mentioned with, keeping relaxed and everything, it's important to keep a poker face and show no emotion. You don't want to know what you're thinking or how you feel. Even if you're feeling really uncomfortable, you don't want them to know. But you also want to keep it lighthearted and fun, just to make the tension less on you, just to make them see that this isn't that big of a deal. If you're smiling, you're having fun. Fun in the sense that you're not overreacting or anything like that. It makes it seem like, if I get what I want, I'm happy, but I don't have to have this. This is my offer, take it or leave it. And that's kind of the attitude that you want to go into it. So just smile, be happy about it. Don't be overly aggressive. Don't be overly passive either. Just be right in the middle, balanced with it. Show that this is what you're presenting, and then just smile and take it from there. Relieve the tension on yourself and make the situation better. I mean, this just makes the whole negotiation situation a lot more fun for you and for them as well. All right, so tip number 4 is clear value. And what this means is that in every negotiation situation, after you're asking for something or someone asks something from you, each side has value. So meaning that you have value in what you're presenting. So an example of this would be if you're asking for a promotion or a raise or added benefit, some value might be, well, I was employee of the month 3 times in a row. I boosted our production this amount of points. So with this type of negotiation strategy, you want to use data that you've acquired through your experience working there, showing that you're competent, that you've improved and made that company better in some way. That boosts your value. And so you have to see the other side's value as well. And you have to make sure that what you're asking for is nothing compared to the value that you bring. Once your value is above what you're asking for, why wouldn't they give that thing to you? Why wouldn't they give exactly what you want with that promotion? There'd be no reason why they wouldn't, because you're showing that you're much more valuable to them than that raise or promotion or bonus that you're asking for. It's the same thing no matter what you're negotiating for. You have to show clear value in what you're bringing to the table. And this is important no matter what you do with it. So remember, lay out the points of what makes you valuable to them and why they need you. Make them see the value that you bring to the table. So tip number 5 is, what is their objective? So what is the other side's objective when you're negotiating? what do you think they want in this negotiation process? And you want to be clear in what they want. This means asking good investigative questions and trying to really pinpoint the exact need that they're wanting from this. And so when you ask these questions and ask them why they wouldn't or why they need this, the key point in this is to truly listen to what they say. Really understand where they're coming from, really understand what they're saying, because then, and in turn, when you're understanding them better, understanding their point, understanding their side, you can use that as your own leverage with your negotiation to really come to an agreement to where you're both satisfied with what you've accomplished in the negotiation process. So this is key. Remember to know and figure out what the other side is truly wanting in the situation, because sometimes we have assumptions going into the negotiation process of what they want, and it might not be necessarily what you think it is. So try to make it clear and know that before you even go into that process. And if you don't know, ask the questions to really pinpoint it. So tip number 6 is, what is your objective? So you need to know what your objective is before you go into the negotiation process. So you need to know what kind of promotion you want, what kind of raise or benefit, what number that is for a bonus, or what service or product you want at a discount before you go into the process of negotiating. This is because you just simply want to be prepared. You don't want to be ill-prepared when you go into the negotiation situation, because they might just throw out, a number and you haven't really thought about it. So you're just like, oh yes, of course. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, that sounds good to me. And you could have done much better if you just thought about it beforehand. So really think about this. Think about the number that you want. Think about the promotion that you want and list why you want it. This makes it easier to negotiate, and this makes it easier for you to really anchor in that idea. And so an example of this would be if you're asking for a bonus, say, and you're asking for 10,000, you start off with 10,000 and say, I would like to get a $10,000 bonus. And what you're using right there when you're using this ask is the anchoring effect. So this is an excerpt from an article that comes from Harvard's program on negotiating. This article talks about the anchoring effect, and they describe the anchoring effect as a cognitive bias that describes the common human tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information offered when making decisions. During decision making, anchoring occurs when individuals use an initial piece of information to make subsequent judgments. Once an anchor is set, other judgments are made by adjusting away from that anchor, and there is a bias toward interpreting other information around the anchor. So when you have that number in mind and you initially ask for it, so when you ask for that bonus of 10,000, you are using the anchoring effect, because now the starting offer is at 10,000 and you're showing that this is the number that you want. And so they might counter you at 7,000, but you move off of the 10,000. So say they say 7,000, you're like, well, I'll settle for 9,500. See, you drop it by a little bit, and don't drop it by thousands. A better number might even be 10,800 or 9,800. So you go by small increments, and they gradually meet up with you. You gradually slow down and meet up with them. Another strategy with that is to split the difference with them. So say you're at 10, they're at 8, you move them up to 9, you're at 10 and 9, split the difference, go at 9,500. That's another strategy that you can use as well with it. So there's tons of things that you can use with this, but the anchoring effect just helps you start off the negotiation process with your number in mind. So remember, start high with your number, but have a number prepared beforehand. Have your objective prepared beforehand, something that you won't settle less for, something that I need this at least. That way you're more prepared going into it, and you're not going to settle for anything less than that. All right, so tip number 7 is think 2 and 3 steps ahead. This means that you're prepared with whatever the other side throws at you as far as questions or objections. You want to know what they're bringing to the table and what possible questions or objections they might have to your offer. And you want it to be smooth and relaxed when you say this. It's just like a game of chess. You need to know your opponent's move that they're going to make before they even make it. That way you can counter. So say you ask, well, I'd like this bonus for 10,000. They're like, well, we can't really do that, just, would you settle for 8? You're ready with the response just right off the bat. You say, I understand, but I've done this, I've done that. Whatever it is, just be prepared for what they're gonna say in that situation. So when they say this, you have that. When they do this, you say that. It just gives you more confidence in the negotiation process also because you're already prepared. You've done the practice, you've done the reps, so it just rolls off the tongue, so you're ready for whatever they throw at you. And when they throw this, this one objection at you, you don't even bat an eye. And if all else fails, just ask them why. Why can't they do that? See what they say. So tip number 8 is silence. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. So remember, in negotiating, timing is very critical, and knowing what to say and when to say it is very important as well. And too many times in negotiation situations, people talk themselves out of what they really want, and they just keep talking. And so you'll learn that silence is a technique and tool that is extremely important that you can use to your advantage because it puts extra tension in the situation. It makes them have to respond. So an example of this would be when you first initially have your ask of what you want. So say, I want this $10,000 bonus. You just leave it at that. You don't say anything else. You just say, I would like this $10,000 bonus, and then have them respond. You don't say anything, you keep silent, and put the ball in their court. See what they say. And that's all you need to do. It's that simple, but it's really difficult for some people because there's tension, it can be uncomfortable, you're asking for something, and a lot of people don't even like to ask for something, but it also brings it to where there's this sudden mood shift, and there's just silence there. And people don't like silence. There's this uncomfortable feeling to it. And so what usually happens is this. So you'll say, well, I'd like this $10,000 bonus, but 6,000 would be just as good. See, you're talking yourself out of what you really want, and you don't want to do that. Because now, are they going to give you the $10,000 bonus? No, of course they're not. Why would they? Are they going to give you the $6,000 bonus? Maybe, maybe not. But at that moment, they have no confidence in what you just said. Immediately, $10,000 is written off. So just remember, say what you need to say, and then be silent. Have them respond to you, and then you make another response. It just goes back and forth like that. Use silence to your advantage. Trust me, it is a game changer. It works wonders. All right, so tip number 9 is to walk away. Sometimes you're not getting the number that you want, or you're not even getting the number that you were hoping to settle for. You're just way too far apart. And so when this happens, there's no shame in walking away. There's no shame giving a handshake and say, well, maybe next time. But it's also important to note, sometimes you might need to grind it out a little bit more and try to see if you can actually get that thing that you want. But other times, it's good to recognize when to just walk away and cut your losses. And you never know, it might build urgency for them to actually, have them come to you and negotiate a little bit further to get a little bit closer to what you actually want. You never know. It doesn't hurt to try. All right, so tip number 10 is to practice. Just like with anything, once you get your reps in, you're going to get more confident. And practice builds those reps to get you more confident. So when you go into these situations, go into this negotiation situation, you're confident in what you're going to say and your objective, and you know what you're going to do there. And so you could also practice and ask a friend or family member once you tell them, a little bit of what's happening, and they might be able to give you some advice as well and show you like, hey, so you might have a list of the values that you bring, what you're asking for, your objective, and a little bit about the other side, their values and stuff. And they might have a little bit of extra insight that could help you in this negotiation situation. So it never hurts to ask, and it never hurts to practice a bit. So give it a shot before your next negotiation situation. So these are my top 10 techniques for negotiating. These are just negotiating basics that I've learned, that I've used throughout the years, and they've really helped me. Negotiating is such an interesting topic. There's so many aspects to it. When you get further along and get more advanced with it, everything from obvious things to body language, tonality of voice, what you say and when you say it, how to have silence with it, your presence. There's so many different aspects to it that really make it that much more dynamic and really creative in that aspect. But these are just basic tips to help you, with getting a promotion or a raise or a benefit or a bonus or just getting certain products at a discount. And so these should help you in those situations. And I hope they do, and I hope you use them next time. If you guys have any tips that have helped you in negotiation situations, please leave down a comment down below. I'd love to hear them. And hopefully you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and like the video down below. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. All right, I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good one.